Hey, this is Knife Standards. Today I'm going to be doing my full review of the Vero Engineering Axon Framelock. But first, please follow me at Knife Standards. You can follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a lot more knife content and weekly knife reviews. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and talk Vero Engineering. This is the Vero Engineering Axon Framelock. So if you don't know, Vero Engineering is it's a small business. I mean, it's really like a one-man show. I know that it's Joseph Vero and his wife, so maybe another family member, but it's family operation. Joseph's kind of like the design master. I mean, he's just like a machine cranking out design after design, and he designs these guys and then has the knives produced by bestech, which, I mean, bestech just crushes these these productions. So bestech is OEMing Vero's designs, and I think this is my maybe fourth or fifth Vero knife, and they're all really damn good. I mean, the designs are great, and bestech crushes the production. The build quality, the fit and the finish is just top notch. So yeah, I mean, this is a great knife. If you want the short version of this review, you want the cliff notes, it's a damn good knife. There's going to be a ton of positive stuff in this review. Very few critiques, if any. But I will still go through how it was for me to carry, how it felt in my hand, and we'll go over all the specs. But originally these were liner locks. When the Axon first came out, when Vero first released the Axon, they were exclusively liner locks. And I feel like, when you think of, at least when I think of Vero, this is what I picture. I picture the Axon. I picture this sheep's foot blade shape, and this is kind of the, in my head at least, the flagship model of Vero Engineering. That might change in the future, but for now, that's kind of what I think of, and I think a lot of people think that same way, where they think Vero, they think Axon. Even if they don't know the name of the knife, this is the one that they're thinking about, the one that they picture. So when the liner lock came out, it was like in crazy high demand. You could not get a hold of one, for good reason. They were fairly small production runs. It's an extremely solid knife, and it's a good design, great production by bestech. They were very hard to get a hold of. And then production increased on the liner lock, and then he came out with the Framelock version. And I have yet to hold or handle a liner lock Axon, but when the Framelock came out, I thought, okay, I got a notification, it was in stock, and I thought, yeah, all right, fine. The liner lock didn't really call out to me, but I thought, okay, I'll give the Framelock a try and see what it's all about. We can see the back. You can see that it is indeed a Framelock. So yeah, I opted for this configuration. This is the the DLC coated handles, the coated scales. We got the plain clip, and then of course the vertical belt satin. Really just outstanding. Look at the grind lines. Jeez. Insane looking blade. So yeah, I went with this configuration, and I want to say I was like surprised by the action or the quality or whatever, but this is just what Vero does. He just does really good stuff. So when I got it in hand, I was impressed. You saw my unboxing, my first impressions. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. But yeah, this is the variation I went for, and I'm pretty happy that I went for this one. There are other versions. I know the liner lock comes in. I see a lot of people with the micarta, which I'm not a huge fan of. I know for the Framelock there is a I think there's an all coated blade, coated handle, and then there's definitely a stonewash handle that I've seen. I don't know when he's going to do another production run of these, so whoopsies. But every once in a while, these will pop up on the secondary market or on knife swap, so keep an eye out. The liner locks are much more widely available. I feel like I don't see a ton of the frame locks, but anyway, they do pop up every once in a while on knife swap. So let's go ahead and talk about, just little details in the specs, and then we'll get into a size comparison. We have this pretty epic sheep's foot blade shape. I'd say this is sheep's foot. Really nice, excellent grind lines. You have the this little cutout, this little fuller. I think they're calling it the V spot. So you can, from the front, you can roll it with your thumb, or you can middle finger flick. I feel like that's the real purpose of it. Middle finger flick it open. You have the satin hardware, coated handle, frame lock. Lockup looks solid. If it was any earlier, I would be worried, but it's not. Plain clip, and then really nice detail. This kind of full backspacer, or just about full. I mean, it's in knives these days. That's kind of unusual. You see the VBR, you just have this, and I don't mind a small backspacer that just hangs out here. Sometimes that's necessary for the design, or even for the drift, you just have that little one in the back. But I think it's cool. It's kind of unique to see this kind of full backspacer all the way. Definitely a nice detail. And let's see, the Vero logo there. Got some jimping up top. I did take apart this knife. It is T8 all around, and it does have a only tooling marks on the clip side, which I think is great. Looks very good from the show side, and it is a captive pivot, which makes my life a lot easier. Now let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison. We'll get the Axon set up. Let's go ahead and also do the VBR, since this is a similarly sized knife. Both kind of on that large and just out of the medium category, just entering the large knife category as far as I'm concerned from my hand size. And then let's go ahead and do the quiet carry drift. And let's go ahead and get these measured up. So we know the drift, 3 inches on the blade, just under 7 overall. The VBR should be about 3.5, yes, and 8 overall. And then the Axon, it looks like 3.5 and 8 overall. So very similar. The VBR and the Axon, very similar sizes. Let's go ahead and get the Schmedium drift out of the way, and we can take a look at how close these guys are. Pretty similar. We both have the 3.5 inch blade, the coated titanium. Really nice. I mean, these are two of my favorite knives, and they're both on the larger side, which is interesting because, even a few months ago, I was kind of like the small knife advocate, and now I've moved on to the larger knives. This is what I enjoy now. It's crazy how that works, but definitely two of my favorite knives at the moment. So I'll go ahead and get the VBR out of the way, and let's get this to the side, and then let's talk Ergos. So this knife in my hand, it's interesting. The Ergos are interesting because initially it is comfortable. You get it in hand, you're gonna open a package or cut something, it's comfortable and it feels great. But if you shift your grip around, or if you're going to cut something, or you have to readjust your grip, you definitely do feel the tip of the clip. And I know that has been a critique of not only of this model, but of Vero knives. And the clip worked really well as far as, you know, functionality in my pocket. The clip was great. So it went in and out of pocket really easily. There was no issues there. And when I first grip the knife, comfortable. And as soon as I start to, if I have to re-grip or shift my grip, I do start to feel just a little bit of a poke, a little bit of a hot spot. It's nothing serious. I mean, this is a very minor critique. It's not a deal breaker. I felt way worse hot spots, but it is there. I do feel it from my hand. It gets me right about there. It's a little bit pokey. So is it a huge deal? No, definitely not. Do I feel it? Yes. Now, as far as Ergos go, other than that little pokiness, it's pretty comfortable. The actual handle is very thin. It's comfortable in my hand. I get my full 4-finger grip. One other thing that I would change, and oh, by the way, I don't know how I would change the clip. I don't know what the solution to that is, but it's just a little pokey. That's just throwing that out there for my hand. But again, the clip worked really well in pocket, in and out of pocket, and of course it looks damn cool. Anyway, back to the jimping. The jimping feels great. It's not sharp. There is some good grip, but where the jimping sits, it kind of makes my hand want to kind of sit back onto the knife. And when I was using the knife, the most comfortable position that I found was kind of choking up a little bit more, and my thumb ended up landing right above the fuller. So I would love to see jimping kind of extended along the spine up until the end of the fuller. I think that would be awesome, so you can get this kind of choked up grip, because this actually feels more comfortable than when I'm back here. So anyway, I'm not sure how that would affect the Vero logo, but maybe we just move everything down and extend that jimping along here. I think that'd be awesome. Now, as far as carry goes in pocket, the knife felt great. It is not a super light knife, but it's also not heavy. And for its size, I think that the internal milling, definitely, you know, did its job. Let's go ahead and check it out on the inside. Can you guys see that? It is very hard to see with the coated blade. Wow, that was my stomach. What the hell? I guess I need to eat some food. Yeah, so it is. I really should have a flashlight on my desk. But there is some extensive internal milling. There are some pretty big milling pockets. I know it's hard to see, but there are two large pockets right there on this side, and then a few smaller ones on the clip side. Anyway, so my point was that for the size of the knife, the weight is really good. It's balanced in my hand. It feels great. It's not too heavy. In my pocket, it wasn't like clunking around. It didn't feel uncomfortable to carry. Would I carry this with shorts? No, not really. This is definitely a, you know, jeans or you know, pants carry because of the size. But it carried fine for me. It didn't bother me in pocket. Now, a huge selling point of this knife and a huge positive for me is the action. So we can go ahead and middle finger flick it. Boom, really snappy. And then of course, super smooth on the close. This does run on bearings. I don't know if I mentioned, but it is M390 steel. All of Vero stuff, M390 across the board. Very, very smooth on the close. Whew. And one thing I forgot to mention, which, if you're wondering why there's a little bit of the spine sticking out here where the jimping is, it's a front flipper. The Axon was, you know, originally meant as a front flipper, and it is still a front flipper. So if you get your thumb right on this edge on the jimping, it front flips, which I think is fun. I'm not a huge front flipper, you know, guy, or, you know, I'm not like a front flipper enthusiast, but I have kind of come around to some front flippers. I really like my fifth 20 from CKF, and I have a front flipper in the mail on the way to me right now, which I'm excited about. So front flippers, they're making a comeback. It front flips really well. The flick is great. And of course, the action on the close is super, super, super smooth. Now, one thing to kind of, I'll just mention it real quick. The detent it's good. And on the middle finger flick, it's good. Feels great on the front flip. But if you just kind of sit here and play with it, eventually you'll get kind of a light flick, or a light, like kind of like that one, where you don't catch it perfectly. That was fine. But eventually you'll get kind of a light flick. I think the detent could be, if they, well, I don't know. It's tough to say, because you want the detent to be light because it is a front flipper, and because you can middle finger flick it. You don't want to struggle with the middle finger flick, but I think the detent could be a little bit stronger on this knife. I mean, a hair, like a touch stronger. Not a deal breaker, not a serious critique, but if the detent was just a little bit stronger, I think it'd be more satisfying, and more satisfying to flick and flip, and you wouldn't get those kind of light hits, which again, that might not matter to a lot of people. If you get a light flick or flip, not a huge deal. Now, I did disassemble this knife. It was pretty easy to disassemble. It had a captive pivot. It's all T8 hardware, and I cleaned it up. And when I cleaned it up, the action improved a ton. So it was smooth when I first got it. You guys can see in the, I wonder if let's see, when was the unboxing? I don't know. I'll check the date. But anyway, it's been cleaned and oiled since then, and the action has gotten just better and better and smoothed out. So I think that just about covers it. This is a great knife from Vero. It has solid ergos, an awesome blade shape, frame lock. Definitely more my style than the liner lock. You can flick it. You can front flip it. Could the detent be a little bit stronger? Yes. I do feel this kind of pokey tip of the clip. Not a huge deal. The vertical belt satin looks insane. It carried well in my pocket. I like the sheep's foot blade shape. The flat grind feels very, very nice. And overall, this is another winner from Bestech and from Vero Engineering. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone's support. This has been Knife Standards. I will catch you later.